When I was a little girl, I was fascinated with how sunlight reflected on the surface of rocks and stones. I remember picking them up and examining their structure and holding them at different angles so that I could get the occasional flash as I turned each one around within my fingers. I was attracted to the play of colors on many surfaces. The surfaces of leaves and flowers and even insect wings. I was mesmerized by the gorgeous display of iridescent colors on the wings of butterflies and other insects. Most people think of beetles as being garden pests, but I remember looking for them so that I could admire their gorgeous jeweled outer shells. I take my beads outside a lot because I find sunlight brings out the natural beauty and colors of gemstones and crystals. Finding inspiration is easy when you go out in nature, and so I try and go for long walks as much as possible. But I also do it because it helps me find peace and relaxation, which is ultimately what unleashes my creativity. Hello everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Luisa. If you've been following my videos, you'll know that I love to go out in nature, but I don't always go out to get inspiration. Sometimes I just feel like I need to get away, especially when I'm having some kind of a creative block. It just helps to get away from what you're used to seeing, your surroundings, and it helps to go out and get some fresh air and some sunshine. You come back with a different perspective. That's how I feel. So that's why I go out a lot. And it's just, it's not only good for your wellness and your mental state, but it's also good for you physically. So that's what I try to do. And I'm going to keep doing it as long as I can, because eventually, I probably won't be able to do it. We all get to that point in life where, we have physical limitations. And so it's always good to do the most that you can while you can. That's what I believe in. Anyway, guys, I'm so glad you're here with me today. I'm going to be showing you how to make a gorgeous boho necklace. Now, I used the beads from the Jesse James Magical Mystery Bead Box for December. And this video actually premiered on their Facebook page and on their YouTube channel. I want to present it to you here. And so you're going to see me open up beads from that box. But I just want to let you know that if you don't have that box, or if you don't subscribe to that box, you can still make the necklace, okay? I will leave a description down below with all the beads that I used, the dimensions of the beads, okay, and the colors, so you can still make the necklace even though you may not have the beads, all right? Okay, so let's go ahead and dive into the tutorial. So today we're going to make a beautiful necklace using the beads from the Winter Woods Magical Mystery Bead Box, okay? This was the December box, and it came with all kinds of beads, all kinds of colors, all kinds of metals. And I'm going to be making a necklace today using different kinds of metals. That's right, I'm going to use gold, copper, and I'm going to show you just how easy that is, because so many people are afraid to mix metals, but you can actually do that very easily, and that's what we're going to do today. So let's go ahead and select the beads. You're going to need some of the beads from the Winter Woods Design Elements bead mix. And here are the beads we're going to be using. We're also going to be using one of these beautiful beads from the Focal Metal Assortment. And here's the bead we're going to be using. It's a very pretty copper colored bead, and I'm going to place this one right in the middle there, okay? We're also going to be using a bunch of beads from this beautiful Evening Forest mini bead mix. And I absolutely love these beads here. They're so beautiful. We're going to place 2 bead caps on this bead here, 2 bead caps on this one. We're going to be using 2 of these very interesting ceramic square beads. Okay, so these are going to go right there. And we're going to use these adorable flower beads right after the little cube. We're also going to be using these very pretty gold colored, they look like pave beads, but I'm not sure if that's what they're called. They have little rhinestones on them. So we're going to put these right on the ends there. So right after the rhinestone beads, we're going to place these gorgeous copper beads with like a fern on them. I absolutely adore these. We're going to put them right there on the ends. You're actually going to be needing another 2 of these lovely beads for the strand portion of your necklace. We have these beautiful coffee colored faceted teardrop shaped beads. We're going to put these right here on the ends. And we're also going to place 2 of these. It looks like a metallic luster on these beads. They look like 5mm in size, or maybe 6. But we're going to place these. Why don't we place these right here, right before the teardrop, okay? And I think I want to place a rondelle, a light colored rondelle from one of the strands, this strand right here. This is the Frozen Lake strand, okay? And I want to place a couple of these little ones here. So let me go ahead and snip them out. So I think I'm going to use this one. I'm going to put it right there. And there's another one just like that one. So I'll put that one on this side, like this. So this is what we have so far. We're also going to be using some of the chain reaction. And I chose the gold one. We received 2 of them, a silver and a gold one. One of the tassels that came in the tassel assortment. And I chose this one. And some number 2 crimp tubes from Bead. I know they have these at the Jesse James online store. We're also going to be using some Bead bead stringing wire, and this is the 49 strand, 0.018 inch thickness. We're also going to be using some of these crimp covers and some wire guards or wire guardians. These are optional, you really don't need to use them, but I just think that it finishes off the necklace really nicely. You're also going to need some 22 gauge craft wire, and this color is antique brass, but you can use copper or gold. It really doesn't matter as long as it's 22 gauge. We're also going to be using some 5mm jump rings in a gold color. And these are about 20 gauge in thickness. And you're going to need a lobster claw clasp in a gold color. Okay, we're going to start off by snipping off a piece of beading wire that's about 12 inches long. And you want to attach some kind of a clip at the end or bead stopper. We're going to start by threading on this teardrop shape at the end, then the 6mm round, then this beautiful fern bead. I love this one. And this lovely gold bead with the rhinestones, then the flower bead. And this project is going to be so easy, guys. It's going to be super, super easy. And then the rondelle. Okay, let's see what we got so far. All right, and I'm doing this because I just wanted to show you that it's okay to mix metals, okay? So if you have gold and bronze and copper and you're afraid to mix them up, well, the good news is you can do it, okay? And it'll look beautiful. There's the ceramic one, and there's the bead cover, or the bead cap I should say. And then comes this one. I thought this was a rondelle, but it's really, really round, so it may not be a rondelle. Well, it's not exactly round, but anyway. So now that we've threaded this, we're going to move on to the next step. You're going to take your chain reaction, okay, and you're going to snip off 2 of these metal bits, okay? So here we go. We're going to snip it off. So you're going to need that. And you're actually going to need 2 of them. So let's go ahead and snip off another 2. So here are my 2 pieces. Okay. Now they're still connected. Okay, I'm not going to snip off that piece that's between them. I'm just going to leave that. It's like a jump ring. I'm going to leave it. It's a closed jump ring. I'm going to leave it there. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. After you thread on this faceted bronze colored bead, you're going to thread on one of these, just like that. Okay. Then the copper bead, and then the other chain reaction piece, just like this. Okay, so this is what you should have. Okay, and now we're going to continue putting on the rest of the beads. Very easy project. So So if you're a beginner, this is the video for you. All right, so this is what we have so far. How easy can that be? Okay, so now that we have these two, we're going to attach the tassel to the end of these two pieces of chain reaction, and we're going to do that with a jump ring. So here's the tassel we're going to use, but we're not going to use it just by itself. We're going to attach one of these beautiful rondelles to the top of it first. So let me go ahead and remove one of these. Okay, here it is. Now this tassel has a loop at the top, and if you look really closely, it actually has a little opening, a little gap right there. I know it's hard to see on camera, but if you take a set of pliers and you pull it, let me just do it here so I can show you, you'll see that it's a loop that actually opens up. So we're going to pull it, open it up, insert the loop of this rondelle, it's already wrapped, and close it right up. Just like that. Okay, how easy is that, guys? It's so easy. All right, so now we're going to attach this to the ends of these two pieces of chain reaction, and we're going to attach it by using one of these 5mm jump rings. Like I said earlier, these are 20 gauge in thickness, okay? You don't want them any thicker than that because then they won't fit through the little hole of this chain reaction piece, okay? So you're going to attach one end like this, right through the little loop, and then you're going to thread on your tassel, and then you're going to attach the other end of the other piece of chain reaction. Just like that. Okay, then close up your jump ring, and you want to make sure that you close it up very, very well. Okay, you don't want any space at all. So this is what you should have so far. Okay, very pretty. So now we're going to go ahead and crimp off one of the ends. Okay, so get your crimp beads or crimp tubes. Thread on a crimp tube, and then your Y guardian, you go in through one end like this, and then up and around and down through the other end and pull it. Make sure your tail goes into the crimp tube, just like that. Make sure that it's nice and snug so that the beading wire sits right on top of that channel of the Y guardian, or right inside the channel, I should say. I usually like to come in here with a set of crimping pliers and very gently bring those two posts together of the Y guardian. Okay. And then take your crimping pliers and using the notch that's closest to your hand, you're going to give that crimp tube a squeeze, just like this. Okay. And you can actually pull that Y down at this point if you need to. But this is what it should look like. Okay. You want to make sure your beading wire is positioned correctly within those cylinders, okay? All right, so now that you have that, turn it sideways and use the notch that's furthest away, the one that's by the nose of the plier, like this, and give it a squeeze to close it up. Just like that, guys, okay? Now, I use a second pair of pliers, and I like these because the little notches are smaller, and I use them to squeeze that tube a little bit more, just to make sure. Okay, once you have that done, you're going to definitely snip off your tail. You don't need the tail, okay? And at this point, you can attach one of the crimp covers. It's always better to come in from underneath the tube with that cover, and then using your crimping pliers, you're going to use them very gently to close up the crimp tube cover. You want to do it very gently so you don't dent it, and you want to do it from different angles so you can get a nice round shape. Okay, just like that. Okay, once you have that one done, that was the easy one, we're going to move the beads down, all the way down. Okay, and we're going to do this end, and this is the more challenging end. So again, you want to thread on a crimp tube and then your wire guardian, make sure the tail goes into the crimp tube, and you want to pull it all the way down so there's no slack. Okay, but you don't want it too tight either. Okay, you don't want this, you want some movement in the strand. Okay, so you don't want it too tight, but you definitely want to pull it down as much as you can, just like this. Okay, and just like before, we're going to bring those two little posts together with some crimping pliers, and then go in with the first notch of your pliers, give it a squeeze, turn it, and give it another squeeze to, you know, crimp it up. And if you have some of these like I do, come in here and tighten it up a little bit more, snip off your tail, and slip on your crimp cover. Close it up. Here's what we have so far, and it's looking so pretty. I love it. Okay, now we're going to finish the rest of the necklace. So for that, you're going to need your chain reaction, and I'm going to snip it up and show you exactly how we're going to use it. And so far, I have about 9 inches worth. Okay, so my necklace is going to be about 20 inches long. Okay, and the thing about chain reaction is you have to figure out where to cut it, how to use it, because you want your necklace to be symmetrical, obviously. So as you can see, I have 2 pieces here that I've already snipped with 2 rondelles on each one. Okay, and let me just bring it up close so you can see how it looks. So we have a rondelle at the end, and then 4 of these little links, and then another rondelle and 2 of the little links. And you want 2 pieces that look just like that. Okay, now for the rest of the necklace, we're going to do something a little bit different. You're going to take what's left over and you're going to snip it exactly in the middle, so that you end up with a piece that looks like this. 4 links, a rondelle, and 2 links. And both of them should be the same. Okay? All right, so it's a little bit different than that one. Okay? The necklace is going to be a little bit more than 20 inches. I want it to be long. And so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to attach the 2 that go on this end. And for that, you will need your 5mm jump rings. You're going to open up your jump ring, attach it to the end where the wire guardian is. Take one of the pieces that has the rondelle at the end. So you have the rondelle, the 4 links, rondelle and 2 links, and close up your jump ring. Really, really well. Okay, so there's no gap whatsoever. So that's one end connected. And we're going to do the same thing on the other end. Take a jump ring, open it up, connect it to the end of your beaded part of the necklace, and connect the rondelle end onto the jump ring and close it up. Check your jump ring from the top, guys, okay? From the top and from the sides, make sure there's no gap. And sometimes I just run my finger on it to make sure that it's closed, okay? So this is what we have so far, all right? And so now we're going to attach a bead to this end, okay? Each one of these ends, and it's going to be this beautiful copper bead. So to attach the bead, we're going to use the 22 gauge wire. Take a piece and give it a kink like this, okay? Place your pliers right where the little kink is and wrap it around the top end of your pliers. Reposition your pliers, continue to wrap around to the back. Okay, and before you go any further, attach it to the end of your strand, your chain reaction, just like this. Grab it with another set of pliers and give it a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess. Make sure you tuck in the little sharp end. Thread on your copper bead. Now take a look at this, guys. This is important, okay? If you can see the little fern pattern there, it's pointing up that way. It's a good idea if you do the same thing with the one that's up here as well, so they're both the same, okay? Just a little detail. All right, so now you're going to grab this end of the wire, just like this, give it a little bend, and you're going to do another loop at this end. Now before you close it, you want to attach the other piece of chain reaction, okay? And we're going to attach this piece here that has the 2 links and the rondelle, okay, because we want to match it with this side, okay? So if you'll take a look here, let me put it down so you can see. We have the rondelle, we have the 4 links, the rondelle, 2 links. So on this end, we're going to have 2 links, rondelle, and the 4 links, okay? So we're going to attach this end here. Slip it into the loop, just like this. Grab the loop with a set of pliers and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess and tuck it in. Make sure there's no sharp end sticking out, okay? So that's this side. And now we're going to do the same thing on this end, okay? So grab your wire and do a little loop at this end, just like you did before. Attach it before you close up that loop. Okay, grab it with your pliers and give it a couple of wraps. And I say a couple of wraps, but you know what? It's totally up to you if you want to do more than 2 wraps. That's personal preference, okay? Snip off the excess. Tuck it in. Thread on your other bead. Make sure it's pointing in the right direction. Okay. And then close off, or not close off, but loop off this side. Don't close it because you need to attach the other piece of chain reaction. Okay. Grab the loop. Give it a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess and tuck it in. Okay, so this is what we have so far. I love it. It looks really pretty, doesn't it? What makes this work? How come we can combine metals? Very simple, guys, okay? You just have to distribute the colors evenly. So as you can see, we have copper here, but we have gold here, and we have gold here. And we also have gold in the bead caps and gold here, and it's okay to have gold up there. The copper is within, the color of the copper is actually within these beads here. So here are 2 copper beads, and here are two flower beads that have kind of that same color, okay? So as long as your colors are distributed evenly throughout, you can mix your metals. There's nothing wrong with that, okay? So now that we have this, we're going to finish it off, and it's very easy. Take a jump ring. This one looks like it's already opened. Attach it to one end like this. Close it up really, really well. I can't emphasize that enough. Check your jump ring from all angles to make sure that it's closed, okay? And now the other end is very easy. I've threaded on my lobster claw clasp. Hook it on there and close up your jump ring. We're done. Look how beautiful this is. It's hard to get it all on camera because it's long, but look how pretty this beautiful boho necklace is. I love these beads. These are so gorgeous. Very pretty. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Let me go ahead and clean up my mess that I made here, and I'm going to come back and put this on and show you what it looks like. Well, here's the necklace. Isn't it beautiful? I love how it looks. Please stick around till the end of the video because I'm going to show you what it looks like on a necklace display so you can get a better look, okay? But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I know some of the beads are going to be a little bit difficult to find, and the chain reaction, I know you can get that on the Jesse James Beads website, their store, their online store. But if you can't get any of that, even if you just use regular chain, or if you make your own beaded chain, that would be another option, okay? But I wanted to present this video to you because I know some of you don't go on Facebook and maybe you don't follow Jesse James Beads. I would encourage you to go over to their YouTube channel because they do have a lot of other tutorials that are really neat. So anyway, even though you may not have the beads, I hope you learned a little bit. It was a very easy tutorial, okay? Very simple. But I wanted to show you how easy it is to mix metals. You know, sometimes we get stuck on the idea that it has to be all one kind of metal. And it really doesn't, okay? And as you saw, I used all kinds of different beads, all shapes, all sizes, and it worked just fine. You just have to know how to distribute the beads and the colors, and you can get away with pretty much anything if you know how to do that. But anyway, I hope I've given you some ideas. I hope you enjoyed today's video. I am looking forward to seeing you again. Thank you so much for subscribing and for following me. I really appreciate it. Have a great day, and I will see you next time. Bye.